Hey guys, I wanted to do an initial kind of impressions of this Timbervault gun safe, or gun shelf, concealment shelf that I got. I've had it for a couple of days, and when I was looking for one, I couldn't find a lot of stuff online about these. There's a couple short videos, so I just kind of wanted to give my impressions of it out of the gate. So the shelf itself really is well made. It's very nice. It's heavy, which I'll talk about in a second. It comes packaged beautifully. It shipped pretty quick. I ordered mine, I think on like New Year's Eve or the day before, so it didn't ship, of course, right away, which I was fine with. I wasn't like needing it overnight. Excuse me. But again, it's a nice looking shelf. It matches our decor pretty well. A couple things to note about it: it is pretty wide, which you would expect from a concealment shelf. So just kind of keep that in mind. Where you're putting it. Now ours is this one's in our bedroom. I know I'm probably going to get people telling me it's right next to an entry door, but that entry door is backed up by about a 1,800-pound bar outside on our patio, and it's dead bolted and safety locked, and nobody can even get to that window. So I'm not worried about anybody ever coming through that door. But so let's talk about the install of it. So it has that kind of metal bracket that slides into the, it's got two prongs, slides in, which makes that really easy. Now, for my setup in this little space that I have, and I'll back up a little bit so you can kind of see, it's between like this door and a closet. There's no studs where the holes are. So I use the drywall plugs that they send with it. They're pretty inferior. When I first installed it, there was actually a lot of sag. Once I put the shelf on it, once I slid it on there, there was a lot of and a lot of wiggle with it. The brace does not have a hole in the middle, which my stud is in the middle here, which that was disappointing. I wish they would have had a hole in the middle for some extra, extra grip. It was a pretty easy fix. I just drilled a hole through the metal and then just put a stud or put a screw right into there, into the stud. And now it is nice and steady. It's not going anywhere. So that to me was a bit of a bummer. I mean, again, it just took me a couple seconds to do it. But even the instructions, which are pretty lacking, the instructions even show like a hole in the middle. So that maybe is for their bigger shelves. Let's talk about the RFID. So it comes with two. It comes with the little key fob, and then it comes with the actual like user card. I wish two things I wish about that. One is I wish they would have had like the smaller RFID without the key fob around it, because I would have liked to use something smaller than this for the sliding. And I wish it would have had an option to buy additional RFID cards in the event that I happen to lose one. I would have liked to had a backup in my safe, because if you lose them, you're kind of out. I've never programmed a blank RFID card. It might be an easy thing to do, but I wish that would have an option. I would have happily paid for that. But functionality wise, I'm just going to use the key fob here. It works as you would expect it to work. But there's my biggest rub with this thing. You can see the door did not drop. Now, hang on, let me move that so it'll stop yelling. Now, I do not have my gun in here right now, but I did test it with my gun in it, and it does the same thing. I have to actually manually pull it down. I wish that drop worked a little bit better. I messed with this thing for like an hour last night trying to get it. So it's got a gas piston in it, and then it's got two soft close doors. You cannot adjust the tension on any of this. So even on these soft close, most soft close, I've done some cabinet stuff, and most soft close you can adjust the tension. None of this you can adjust the tension on. So I did reach out to the company, ask for some suggestions, and wait and hear back from them. But what I think is probably going to happen is I'm going to end up changing out these hinges for some ones that are just a higher quality, that have that tension adjusting in them, so that this door drops properly. You can see like it just, so when you pop it open, I don't want that extra movement of having to bring it down to get to my gun. Hang on, it's gonna yell because it's open and it doesn't like that. That's fun to listen to, isn't it, guys? I did take this piston off because I was wondering if if that was the cause of the drop, not dropping well, and it's not. Even with the piston off, it doesn't drop well. So it's definitely the hinges I think they're just too heavy. So, and I know some people may say, well, you don't have a gun in it. I've tested it with my gun in it. It does the same thing, and I'm using a 45 caliber. So it definitely does not drop well. The other thing is this little motion light. Now I paid to have that, added onto the order. I think it was like 25 bucks or something. It was a bit disappointing because this is just this little pancake motion lights that use a AAA battery. You can buy like a 6-pack of these things on Amazon for like 15 bucks. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it, but if I were to ever buy another shelf from them, I would not buy the light. The light's just not worth it. Because again, just from a cost standpoint. Hang on, it's gonna yell at us again. The other thing is once you get it in here, you got to mount it. You got to obviously screw that in. The screws that they send with it are not really long enough to get a good bite. So I know I hate that I have 2 different screws in there, but I was trying to dig through my garage and find a couple of screws that were a little longer to do that part. I didn't do the back mount screws for one. They're just kind of difficult to get to, and they're unnecessary. I mean, that's really just to hold the shelf from sliding off the rails. So one screw on each side is definitely sufficient. So pretty disappointed in that. Just the functionality of the door. Now closing it, pretty straightforward. I will say that you do got to kind of get your hand on the top of it and close it, which, I mean, some people might complain about, but this isn't something that you open and close, 100 times a day. I mean, my gun will go in here, it'll stay in here. It's going to be the gun that's for here. I have multiple guns that, that I carry and stuff like that. So it's not something that I'm going to use like on a daily basis to open and close. It is battery operated AAAs. And it does have a little auxiliary hole in the back here in case your batteries die. That way you can get it open. I don't anticipate batteries dying very quickly because, again, this isn't something that you're opening and closing constantly. But it's nice to know that if your batteries die, that you can still open it. It's just going to be something that I check regularly, make sure those batteries are fresh, and change them out on a regular basis. In the packaging, there was a couple pieces, or one particular piece that I have no idea what's for. It's this little, it's hard to get it on the camera. It's this little black piece here, and it's got like a little screwed, threaded tip on it. I have no idea what that's for. There's nothing in the instructions that say what it's for. There's a better picture of it. Don't know what it's for. Have no idea. So if anybody knows, please drop it in the comments because I'm curious. The other thing is the foam insert is just your basic foam insert. I'm actually not going to use that. For me, the problem that I have with foam inserts just is to have them in there. To have them in there and have them cut in a way where I can get to this, this thing isn't big. It's not huge. So to have it in a way that I can get in there and safely grip the gun, get it out quickly, safely, everything like that. I just personally, my personal preference is I don't prefer foam for that. So I will be using a gun magnet, mounting a gun magnet. Hi, child. So I'll use a gun magnet. I'm going to mount a gun magnet, and then that way it's got just nice, hang on a second. Crazy kid. It's got just a nice way to get in there and get that. So, I'll be putting a gun magnet in that today, and then my gun will go in it, and then we'll be good. So, So again, that's kind of my initial impressions of it. This one costs 200 bucks, I think. And then again, like 25 bucks, 24 bucks for that pancake light that goes in it. Overall, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think that the door functionality is really what's kind of bugging me the most. The mounting, I didn't like that there wasn't some additional hole options for hitting studs, but that's easy enough to fix just by drilling through the metal. So it's a decent cabinet. It's very well made. The shelf is really nice. Um, I don't regret the purchase, but it's not something like when I got it put up and used it, I was like sending videos or pictures to all my friends saying, "Hey, you guys got to buy this." So, just my impressions. Overall, it's okay. All right, thanks a lot.